When ESPN let me go in 2009, I appeared on Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN 150 times. One of those networks, CNN, actually interviewed me for my own show on CNN. I can honestly tell you, I believe that if I were in politics, it might have got me killed because of the world we're living in. It would have me as a pariah by half of the country.
Stephen A. Smith, speaking with JJ Redick on his podcast, discussed a potential career pivot.
But I will tell you this, I think when people call him racist and stuff like that, I've never thought of Trump that way.
Though he has already done so, showing he is politically motivated. So says ESPN's Bomani Jones, a journalist and host who brings smart and witty commentary to any table he sits down at.
I mean, we've known this for a long time about Stephen A. His ambitions have always been bigger and grander than sports.
Jones, like we have stated on this very show, has followed Smith's previous words on the subject. He told Barstool's Pardon My Take he's happier without Skip Bayless, which was followed up with this.
Is that I have other aspirations.
Yeah.
I've been named the executive producer of First Take. So I have that going on. I have my own production company, Mr. SAS Productions, where I want to produce scripted and unscripted content for TV and films. I have my own podcast, No Mercy, that I do 3 days a week. I've got a lot of aspirations. I want to do late night television one day, potentially succeed Jimmy Kimmel if at all possible.
Previously, we discussed Smith opening up about being poached for a role in government.
I would take a position and I'm unafraid to do it. And considering that it affects the lives of people, I would tell you, I'm glad I didn't, but I came very, very, very close to being a pundit. And one time I was approached by Governor Ed Rendell in Pennsylvania. He wanted me to run for Senate. Yeah, he said you should do it. I said, you don't know, I'm not a liberal. I'm not a conservative either, but I'm not. He said, don't matter with you. Don't matter with you. You're a voice that needs to be heard. He told me this about close to 10 years ago.
But doesn't it seem, not to get too sidetracked with politics, but doesn't it seem now that like showmanship and performance, I mean, obviously we saw this with our last president, it's incredibly important for all of these fields. It's like the television to politics pipeline is happening over and over again.
It's pivotal. There's no doubt about that.
Thus, Jones told Awful Announcing's Brandon Contes this.
He has talked about having, people approaching him about going into politics. I would not be surprised at all to see him actually do it. Like that. In fact, I may be more surprised than not if he were to not go into politics.
Really?
At this point.
Pretty interesting. Here's why.
The difference between politics and everything else, even if they love you or hate you, they want more in anything other than politics. When it comes to politics, as charismatic as you may be, it does ultimately come down to what you do once you have the charisma.
He has stated this and appears to have doubts. In past interviews, he discussed how much he loved guest hosting Jimmy Kimmel. He has sat for interviews with Stephen Colbert. It's abundantly clear he wants a change, but just doesn't know the move right now. My prediction, okay? CBS shut down the Late Late Show with James Corden, if you remember. Journalist Brian Stelter learned a big reason why: profitability. The show costs in the neighborhood of 60 to 65 mil per season. Its net was a maximum 45 million, meaning they were operating at a loss. One CBS executive told Stelter it was simply not sustainable, which means there is a slot opening up. Knowing that Stephen A. Smith has really cozied up to the idea that he wants to be a late night talk show host, it seems like a shoo-in. Not calling my shot, but just saying. Jones, however, would disagree with that.
Look, man, he's really, really, really famous. Like, I don't think that's something that can really easily be explained to people. It's just what the magnitude of Stephen A. Smith is at this point in time. And if he decided to run, I would not be terribly surprised. I don't have any idea whether or not he could win. I don't know where he would run. I don't know any of those things. But it wouldn't shock me at all if he decided he wanted to run for office.
Now, this opens up the Pandora's box. Where does he run? What position does he run for? When it comes to his politics, Jamil Hill would weigh in on Richard Deitch's podcast. Hill would tell Richard Deitch, and I quote, ESPN generally has a conservative corporate culture, and I think because Stephen A. is a little more middle of the road and a little more right-leaning, I think it gives them the comfort to traffic in this other space. Which is true. Smith has recently called Donald Trump not racist and previously blasted Christine Blasey Ford.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. But my God, are y'all lucky I'm not a political pundit. Oh, would I be going off about it? High school. Supreme Court Justice, nominee. And they talk about something that might have happened in high school. Lord have mercy this country.
He has gone on various shows as well. He's made appearance after appearance on Fox News with Will Cain, with Sean Hannity, and other outlets like The First on TV with Bill O'Reilly. Let's not leave out, by the way, his interview with Outkick founder Clay Travis, who is an unapologetic misogynist. So it is not far-fetched for someone like Smith to set himself up to entertain the idea, knowing the inner workings of how important numbers are, audience development is. Do you have that spark with an audience that watches you? No doubt in my mind that there is a potential team behind Stephen A. Smith, and the reason he is going from one outlet to another, to another, to another, whoever will have him at this point, it's because they want to gather that data, present it to him, work on where exactly he can improve, what he can limit, what he can amplify, and become that much more relatable. If I were to give an idea of what he would run as, it would probably be an independent, because Republican, having that R next to your name right now, is so toxic. And on the flip side, having a D next to his name when he already says that he is fiscally conservative and has also said that black people should vote Republican in uncovered audio. I think what he would want to do is play a middle-of-the-road kind of guy who is very entertaining in his craft and pitch the middle-of-the-road person.
I mean, like, could you see him running for governor? Like, I don't know that.
I could.
Oh, really?
I could see him doing that. I don't know if that would be the wisest idea necessarily.
Right. Yeah,
but I
sure.
could see him doing that. I could see him running for the
jumping
House.
right into something like that.
Yeah, like I could see him running for the House. But he moves like a politician. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but he moves like a man that knows that everybody's looking at him and that when he talks, everybody sits up and listens.